Well, in this month of June, I want to tell you that we're going to be talking about the first messages that Jesus preached in his ministry. This is extremely important because it gives a basis and a foundation for Christian living. And it is quite, you know, something else that the last word that God said in the Old Testament was the word cursed. And that word was in Malachi chapter 4, verse 6. And the first message that Jesus preached started with blessed. And yes, we're going to be talking about the Beatitudes. I want to give you the first couple of verses as I read for you. And seeing the multitude, he went up into the mountain. And when was set, the disciples came unto him. I want to share with you that if you read the account of Luke said he was talking to his disciples on the mountain. That's not false, because he was talking to his disciples, but he was also talking to the multitude. And so don't get confused with that. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, it is important to recognize that Jesus went up on a mountain because there was a great following that came after him. They came after him because in the book of Matthew chapter 4, just before this chapter, we're looking at Matthew chapter 5 for the Beatitudes. And chapter 4, they were healed of all kinds of diseases and sickness, and now they were following Jesus. And he wanted to teach them some core principles, some basic things that every Christian needs if they're going to be entering the kingdom of heaven. And he started out by being on a mountaintop. Why? Because he needed to have that elevation, so when he spoke, his voice would carry, and he spoke in very powerful terms. You know, when he spoke not in a crypt or a cavern, but he needed to be up somewhere high where his voice would carry. And he taught, and God in times past would speak through the prophets to the people, but today God actually sent a message through the second person of the Godhead, which is Jesus Christ. And so, it is important to note that the same message that he would share with the disciples is the same message he shared with the multitude. He didn't have a different message. And the message I share with you is the message I shared with my family, because we are all the same. And get ready, because we're going to look at what the word beatitude means and where it came from. Blessings.